Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Boss Rush Podcast, a great place to play games and be better. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Derrick, and alongside me, as always, is the PC muscle race himself, LeRon Dawkins.
Yo, what's poppin'?
I'm surprised you're alive and awake, LeRon. Too much Monster Hunter going on.
I'm awake, yeah. Like hold on. What does my Steam counter say right now as far as like how much time I've spent in the
I don't know, but every time I open Discord, it says LeRon,
I am
a
playing
Monster Hunter.
Yeah. 23 hours. That's not bad. That's really modest.
2023, come on.
You played more Monster Hunter in a weekend than I've played games in a week and a half.
I got 25 hours on Monster Hunter. What's your excuse?
I don't know actually. Well, I know, because the game came out on Friday, and I did spend some time playing the game, but I'll talk about it in the Where We Playing segment.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Also here is the mad pharmacist herself, Stephanie Klimov.
Hey, speaking of awake, I'm drinking a Red Bull, so hopefully I'll be set to go for tonight.
Yeah, Red Bull's good for that, huh? Staying up.
Yeah, until my ulcer wakes up. It's like a roll of the dice. Well,
Yeah.
you never know.
It'll be fine. It'll work out. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine. Everything's fine, right?
Yep. Speaking of fine, also here is PK Power Pat Klein.
I'm straight. I'm fine as some fine old cashews. Little nuts.
Cashews. Everybody surviving? Everybody doing all right? Doing
Hanging in there.
Still Tuesday, right?
There's a little less. There's a little less of me every day, Corey.
Yeah. Well,
but that's done on purpose.
Yeah. Everybody loses a little bit of themselves every day.
Oh no.
To the grind, to life, to I'm just kidding. I'm jovial and happy and yeah.
I'm just talking about weight loss. I'm officially 10 pounds lighter.
Yay. Good job, Pat.
Thank you. Only took me 4 weeks to get there.
Yeah. But it feels good, right? You feel good? Feel better? Feel like you could dunk? Yeah. Feel like you could beat Michael Jordan in a game of basketball? Is that...
I feel like maybe I could actually jump and not crumple my knees when I land.
That's fair. That's fair.
Not going to try it, though.
You don't want to jump? Anyways.
Jump in the air with your hands like you don't care.
Oh, boy. All right. Well, hello, everyone. This is the Boss Rush Podcast, the flagship show of the Boss Rush Network. You can support us over on Patreon if you enjoy the show. Patreon.com/Boss Rush Network. For only $1, you get early and ad-free access to a lot of our shows. You get exclusive access to the pre-show and a bunch of other perks. You can be a Patreon producer for just $5, less than your Starbucks this morning. So head on over there and toss an Abraham. So, but if you can't support us financially, no big deal. You can head on over to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Boss Rush Network, and hit subscribe. If you're listening on audio services, you can leave us a 5-star rating and a nice review. That would really help. Leave us a nice review. Do it. And you can check out all of our content on bossrush.net, including daily banters, listicles, reviews, editorials, and more. Man. Good times. Good times. Speaking of the website, I think I fixed it, maybe. For now. We'll see. We'll find out.
Till the next update happens.
Yeah. You know what makes me sad?
What?
at the bottom of every article, I used to be able to hover over the plus sign and do the at boss rush, and then everything will populate. It still doesn't do that, and it makes me sad.
I know. It's annoying.
Technology always working against us.
I know. You have to go up through the menu and do that now. So,
Boo.
yeah. I have to go in and fix some articles because it looks like somebody copied and pasted everything, and so it doesn't format right. So, but I mean, that's like 90% of our articles aren't formatted correctly, so I just kind of not. Yeah, some of the pictures on the articles are like this small, and then some of them are like this big. It's like, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I gotta recategorize all the podcasts though. They were all, I don't know. The podcast category was totally broken on the website, so I had to like delete it and create new ones, and therefore all the podcasts are now uncategorized. So that's my next project. So
always something.
That should be fun. I know. It's always something. If you're going to start a project, guys, don't start a website. They're broken. Pro tip. Or just have a homepage that tells who you are and where to really go.
That's what I meant to talk to you about over the weekend. I wanted to ask you some advice for like the website stuff. So like just put a pin in that because we're going to talk about that.
Oh boy, can't wait. Looking forward to it. What do I get?
My love and devotion.
Priceless.
I guess that'll do. Yeah. Speaking of love and devotion, LeRon, I'm kicking it to you to give us our first topic.
Wait, was there some? Are we skipping something?
We're missing housekeeping again.
I just did housekeeping.
But what about book club stuff?
Pat's got good book club. I got nothing. LeRon, do you got anything?
I got nothing.
So let's have Pat talk about book club.
Yes, please.
Book club's awesome. It happens every month. So give it a check right now. Your current book clubs are the Ghost of Tsushima is if you're a Patreon. And if you're not a patron, then your book club is, I believe, Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom.
Nice.
With Amanda from Zelda Universe.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yes.
Cool.
You are correct. It is up. It is there, and it is live. I was double checking. I couldn't remember. There's too many things, too many book clubs to keep track of. Yeah. Cool. Go check it out. All right, LeRon. Can I kick it to you now? Are you going to scold me?
I guess so. If you really want to do that.
I am.
Okay, so this is something I don't think that we've ever really like truly like sat down and talked about like on the Boss Rush podcast, or I think any of the other shows. Like it may have been just like a one-off comment or whatnot, things like that. And hopefully, I'm not fanning the flames of something with our writing team, because I know our writing team also does partake in this thing that we're about to talk about.
Like me.
Yeah. So I want to ask the question tonight. Like, do game review scores even matter anymore?
So I'm going to have a controversial take and say to the general public, it sure does. How many people scroll down to the bottom of a page on IGN or whatever website people try to go to these days and scroll down and look at the number and then leave? I mean, you laugh, but I'm serious. Like, nobody ever reads the reviews. They just go see what the score is and then leave, which makes the actual review, unimportant, quote unquote, right? Because people want to go see the score. They want to see what people gave it. They go on Twitter. Stealth will post like 45,000, whatever review scores of every outlet in the world. And people are like, oh, look, that outlet gave it. And they don't even go read the reviews, right? They just see what the score is and then they're done.
Okay, well, all right. So before we actually get to talking about this, let me just go ahead. I got a nice little rolling intro for it, right? And
Uh-oh.
so modern game reviews have been a staple of the gaming industry for decades at this point now, helping players decide to spend their hard-earned money. But as the gaming landscape has evolved, so do the problems with how we actually review games. And just a list a couple real fast, from arbitrary reviews to rush deadlines. The system feels increasingly outdated, and I say this as a member of the Boss Rush Network writing team. I say this as a member of the writing team. Not saying that the editors in chief are like putting massive crunch on us to get stuff turned in or anything like that. But I'm just saying, there's deadlines and stuff like that, that we have to deal with. So yeah. So let's go ahead and dive into this topic tonight. Do
LeRon, that
games?
is true. Just real quick thing on that. Although I guess it differs if you're like a volunteer on a volunteer basis or that's your full-time job, because I struggle with game reviews when I'm given a key to it because I have a limited amount of time to complete the game and get the review out. I mean, technically, they're not gonna, like, come from my head if I'm a day late, but you can't the whole point is to kinda get the review out when everyone else is getting out, and,
Yeah, yeah. The pressure's there, especially like for games that are embargoed.
mhm,
Mm.
Yeah.
yes.
I guess on the flip side of that, I think people have really stopped trusting reviews because I think people think that people that get games for free feel obligated to give it a good score. So they keep giving it, keep giving good scores out. And,
I wish
you know,
less people feel that way, because when I was a contributor for another online blog and stuff like that, like I gave some crushing scores, and I gave some crushing scores to, like, everyone knows my favorite company is Capcom. Like I gave a few Capcom games like ones and twos out of fives.
yeah, but did you get those games for free and early?
Yes, yeah. As a matter of fact, I think two of the most crushing reviews I got, from two of the most crushing reviews that I delivered was for Dark Void by Capcom and Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode 1.
Mm.
Mm,
Mm.
Um I was let me see, for Dark Void, I gave it a 1 with a do not play this game. And for Sonic the Hedgehog 4, because where I was contributing at, we did the alphabet scale, so A to F. I gave it a D minus. I gave it a D minus, and I said the developers are trying to take our money.
mm,
Mm.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I was going to say, I do feel that there is a little incentive to almost give it a good score, because lately there have been companies that have not given keys out to various like reviewers because the reviewer said something bad about a game that they had, or said something like advantageous against their company in like an article. I'm trying to remember the big one recently. I thought it might have been Starfield, but I don't know if that was the correct one. There
I
was.
don't think Starfield was in. I don't think Starfield was in that scandal. I
Um,
shoot.
well, Bethesda's been known to not give out review codes early anyway, right? Since Doom 2016, right? They don't give out codes anyway. I think they just restarted giving out codes when Xbox bought them
mm,
Mm.
because
Well,
I think
I
Xbox
don't
kind of mandated it.
necessarily remember if it was Starfield, but there was a company that like gave a very limited amount of review codes, and they only gave review codes to people that had said positive things about their stuff, because like
Huh.
they were worried that the scores they were going to get were actually going to be bad.
Well, there was a rash of that with WB Studios and Suicide Squad. There was a rash of that. I remember that one.
Maybe
Like there
that's
were
the one I'm
there
thinking
was a
of.
lot of there was a lot of credible people, like, and yeah, I'm not like, when I say credible, I don't mean like IGNs, and
Hmm.
guys like those. I'm talking about people who have gotten like like the golden diamond like YouTube plaques and stuff like that. They were not getting. They did not. They were like, yeah, like no one sent us a code.
It was Suicide Squad because people criticized the demo
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the beta, and those are the people that didn't get the code when the game
Hmm.
came out because they
Yeah,
knew that it was going to be reviewed horribly.
yeah,
Hmm.
Yeah.
Makes sense
yeah.
if you're Warner Brothers.
Yeah, but like review scores, like there's a problem with it. Like like numerical scores, like from a 1 to 10 scale, or like 1 to 5 stars, whatever. Like a lot of times, like sometimes it oversimplifies or makes it too complex to like help people make an informed decision. Like what does a 7 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10 really mean? Because a 7 out of 10 means it's better than mid, but that doesn't mean like it's like spend your money now to play it when it launches. Um,
I don't know. If you ask in 2024, 25 logic, 7 is definitely mid nowadays.
that yeah.
But it's
I
a
would say
fair point
people.
because there's no universal rating for games, right? You can
Mm.
do it on a letter scale, a number scale. On a number scales at 1 through 5, 5 stars, 10, 1 through 10, percentage out of 100. But and just taking a quick step back overall, I mean, I think reviews are always can always be helpful. It depends on the individual reading it. I feel like if someone is going in with a bias already, view is not going to have any effect on them. Or if someone that doesn't have the critical thinking skills to go in and read a review and tell if it's bullshit or not, that's also kind of on the person that's reading it. Um, and then lastly, and I know it's odd. I take this from my job. You know what I think would be a great idea? Instead of focusing so much on a grade, a number, which can be very subjective to interpretation. In my job, we'd have like recommend, do not recommend. You know what I'm saying? So instead of like a number or a letter, it's just basically
Yeah.
like, would you recommend the game or not? Highly recommend. You know what I'm saying? And then also
Like
to whom
video game magazines used to do, right? The
yeah.
buy, rent, sell sort of thing.
Yeah, I like that. And then also maybe just a quick like to whom they'd recommend because there are some games like there'll be a game review that I'll be publishing on Sunday where there's going to be a select group of gamers that will love the game, but probably everyone else will hate it. It has nothing to do with the fact that the game is bad.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I can't tell you the last time I actually went to a website and read a review, right? Like I really can't. I usually listen to the people that I trust in terms of podcasts or videos, and I go watch their discussions, their review discussions, and that's and even then, it's like, well, I know this person likes different types of games than I do, so maybe uh, but I don't. And maybe I'm the weird one, but I don't read reviews anymore. I just if the game interests me, I'm gonna go try it out. If it really interests me, I'll buy it on day one. If it doesn't interest me, then I'll wait till it hits Game Pass or a sale or something. Uh, I think in terms of like Nintendo Switch stuff, because of PAL Block, I try to get on top of the bigger games on that platform just so we can cover it. But you know, uh,
mhm.
I don't. Very and also like if I'm like writing or getting ready to discuss a review or something like I on except for like rare occasion I don't remember the last time I took a free game, right, outside of Destiny, uh, because I don't want these developers to influence how I
Mm.
or try to like come at me for not reviewing their game or something, right? I've unsubscribed to all their PR stuff, even though they still try to send me stuff all the time. But uh, I just like it's not that like I don't want these companies to take offense to it. I want to play the game on my own merit and on my own time with my own money, you know.
Right.
So, you know, I mean,
Yeah,
there was a point where like I wanted to get all the free games and whatever, but like I've kind of grown out of that at this point, and there's enough hate on the internet for people who take free games that I'm just like, I'm not gonna deal with any of that either.
You know, something that kind of burns me up sometimes when I'm actually reading or listening to a review.
What burns you up, LeRon? What
When
grinds your
the
gears?
when the reviewer will compare the game that they're reviewing to games that are not related to and when I say related, I don't mean like games that are part of the franchise. I mean
Mhm.
literally like games that are like would fit in the same mold,
Mhm.
they're comparing them to games that are not fitting the mold or to personal favorites. For example, like everyone knows, like a personal favorite game series of mine is Monster Hunter, but I do not
What?
compare every game to Monster Hunter. Like I'd be a jackass to compare Dead Space to Monster Hunter, Resident Evil to Resident Evil to Alan Wake.
I was
That's wild.
I was gonna make the joke that the only game you ever play is Monster Hunter, so you can't really compare other games to it.
It feels like the only thing I ever play is Monster Hunter. Like I literally like started the year playing Monster Hunter World Iceborne to get ready for for Wilds, and now I'm playing Wilds. I haven't even turned on Ghost of Tsushima.
Side tangent. Well, never mind. I'll ask when we get to what we've been playing because I have a question about Monster Hunter.
Yeah. I want those questions in what we've been playing. 'Cause that's all I want to talk about. Hey, at least I'm being truthful.
I mean,
Yeah.
play what you love, man. I'm not here to hate on you. I'm just
Hey. So Pat, I have a question for you.
What's up?
What's your take on reviews that are rushed or up against tight deadlines?
You know what? I feel their pain on this, and this is kind of my reason why I don't usually grab review codes is because of the fact that I like playing longer games. I like to complete these games. Like literally try everything there is to possibly try to just completely immerse myself in them. A 1 to 2 week game or weeks is usually not enough to cover the type of game that I enjoy playing. Like if it was a shorter game, I could see that being okay, but in a game that takes at least 30 to 40 hours to complete a story campaign, like
Mm-hmm.
that in 1 to 2 weeks, that's a full-time job right there.
Yeah.
To play the game and that just the main story, and we're not talking about the side content, which like you don't really get to experience and meet when you're doing a review.
yeah.
So like it it's tough. Also, one of the things with reviews is that you usually get an unpatched version of the game. So
Mm-hmm.
you'll run into a lot more bugs and glitches, and that could negatively impact your review, but then they get fixed with the day one patch, which, doesn't quite fit into the timeline of making reviews. So luckily, most reviewers tend to be okay. Like they overlook some of those bugs, but
Yeah.
yeah, the one to
It-
2 week thing, it's just tough.
yeah.
I
Usually they're
always. Oh, go ahead, Corey.
I was just gonna say, usually their embargo sheet says what is broken
Mm-hmm.
in the game, so they know what to look
Hmm.
for. Because they'll say this will be fixed in the day one patch or the 1.2 patch or whatever.
Here's something. Because I listen to a lot more reviews on YouTube now than I actually go to like IGNs, Push Squares, the Pure Xboxes now. Actually, Push Square and Pure Xbox, like I trust their reviews.
Yeah, those are like the only sites I ever go
Oh,
to.
and Nintendo Life, I
Yeah.
trust their
Mm-hmm.
reviews.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's all crazy. They're all part of the same umbrella. They're under the same umbrella of parent company.
Yeah.
Wait, you don't trust Kotaku?
But here's the thing.
Kotaku's been cleaning their act up, but Kotaku is
I
still.
I want to say one thing about Kotaku, not recent Kotaku, like 10 years ago Kotaku, when Jason Schreier was still there. They were the first outlet to take away scores from their reviews, so people would
That's
actually read them.
amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, they were also
Mm.
blacklisted by Bethesda and couple other companies too.
I remember
Some
Kotaku.
reviews.
Kotaku was blacklisted by Bethesda, and there was shit. What was the other prolific company? Shit.
Most of them at this point.
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, Ubisoft.
Right. Yeah.
Ubisoft. Yeah.
Well, because they're the ones that broke the Unity bug.
Yeah.
The faceless bug where it was just a floating eye and jaw.
Yeah.
Yeah, good
What I was gonna say a moment ago though is like I said, I listen to more YouTube reviews now than I do actually like written reviews and stuff like that. Like of course I check out the ones from BossRush.net, but whenever I hear the person that's reviewing it say like like hey like we're reviewing an unpatched game, so like our experience before the full release was XYZ, I automatically give that YouTube video a thumbs up because they're being transparent. Because like you'll hear people like on the other end of the spectrum just bitching and nagging about the way the game performed and like how they can't recommend it, and then they don't tell you it was an unpatched copy. Stuff like that. A lot of gamers, like, it should be common sense that like it might be unpatched, but there are a lot of people out there that don't like, or like, hey, like you're getting the release game. You're getting a review code for a game that basically is releasing like like real soon here. So like it's basically a good build. So anytime I hear someone say like yeah we reviewed this off the unpatched copy, so like we can't let but so much sway our opinion on it, like automatic thumbs up on that video for me.
Mm-hmm.
I love transparency.
Yeah, transparency is good.
Okay,
good.
so Corey.
Yeah.
I'm picking at you on this one because there are certain games out there. There are certain games out there that have evolved from what the hell they started as, like No Man's Sky and Destiny 2.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your whole thing when it comes to the reviewing process of games and how games have evolved? Because like like some games by the time Cyberpunk, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Cyberpunk is a whole different animal compared to when it launched 5 years ago.
Yeah. I think re-reviews should be for big prolific games. Maybe not every time there's an expansion or a DLC out or something, but like if the game has significantly changed over the course of a year or 2 years, like Splatoon 2 got a re-review from a lot of outlets. Destiny. I mean,
because the plumber was like, "I'm gonna just stick a plunger directly to your face if you don't fix this."
I don't know. I know every time a new expansion comes out for Destiny, that gets reviewed, and the game gets re-reviewed. Usually by someone who doesn't play Destiny, though. So shocking. So yeah, I think games should be re-reviewed. I think re-reviewing games is smart. Even single player games, or like even waiting, what game got destroyed for being reviewed before it got the day one patch was Days Gone. And look how much of that game changed once it came out. And but by the time it came out, like it was too late. Everybody had already reviewed it, and the day one patch fixed so many of the bugs people were complaining about. Also, that's kind of on Sony's PR for like giving it out 3 weeks early.
Yeah.
But they've got to communicate that too. But it's hard for me to say, I guess, anything else because like I don't write reviews in a crunch style fashion. So I do think though, like places that are trying to hit review embargoes or outlets or channels should consider doing a follow-up review, or how's this game now, like depending on which game it is, like 6 months later or even a couple weeks later, right? I think Avowed is a game that probably could use that now too, right? So not that I heard a lot about it being broken, but so
I think back in the old days, it was easier for video game publications to do reviews because the fact that, we didn't have the internet where we needed to see the scores like the day one release. They could have up to a month to try and get these reviews like done properly,
Hmm.
I guess, to think.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's the thought. It's now you have to try and get your visibility out there. You have to be where everywhere else is like, and
Got to get that
fortunately
SEO click
that
farm
hurts.
going.
Ah,
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. I agree, Pat. Because like magazines and stuff, like no need for get it out on day one, right? Like there's no website, it's a magazine, usually something like Nintendo Power, run by the company trying to sell you the game.
yeah,
But also, like, you have Game Informer, right? Like they were giving reviews sometimes 2-3 months after the game came out, but we didn't know any better because there's no internet. That there was like one Funko Land within driving distance of my house instead of 47 GameStops that all have garbage inventory. Like it's just different. It's just different now.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Which is
yeah.
also why I think there's a lot of not a lot of like non-excitement about game releases anymore, because there's
That's
no mystery.
You brought up a good point there. You bring up a good point. So Stephanie, I'm saving this. I'm saving this one for you, because like out of the four of us, like you do the most writing for the writing team and stuff like that. So why do reviews still matter?
I believe that reviews still matter because it could be a springboard for discussion. It's very rarely used for that or can do that, but I feel that for those that want to come in and have an open mind can have a discussion when they read a review.
Mhm.
And there's still that subset. There's subset of gamers. The gamers that one, they will look at a review and make a decision solely based on the review. Number two, the person that reads it, and even if it got the lowest score, they'll still buy it, or if it's got the highest score, they won't buy it. And there's the third one that just genuinely wants a little bit of an idea of what the game is like, and then they'll make the decision on their own.
Well,
So,
that's me.
oh,
That's me.
mhm.
Like I
So
just want an idea of what the game is like. I don't need to have like every single detail or facet. I just want to know what the game's like, and I want to know if is it broken right out the gate.
exactly. And I feel that reviews don't have the same hoops as when, pre-internet times. But we can still leverage reviews to generate conversations in the gaming community.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So another thing I like is that developers are getting more in tune, and I'm not just talking about like indie developers. I feel like indie developers have always craved the feedback from people that do the reviews to people that do the actual feature pieces to people who are actually just commenting on like on like the stuff that's going on. Indie developers always been on that, but now we're seeing more and more of the actual like A-lister developers and stuff like that. Coming out and talking about their product and welcoming the feedback. For example, Katsuhiro Harada, the director for Tekken, he has been on Twitter and open forums for weeks. Engaging like the Tekken fan base in the community and stuff like that. Like it's amazing some of the stuff that he's said to people about the process and how things are going and how he actively asks questions about things that like us as gamers want to see improved or even worked on and stuff like that. That's just one person. Hideki Kamiya was another one.
Guy that keeps on. Yeah, you know what? Never mind. I don't want to get
What? No,
blocked.
say it.
I don't want to get blocked by mentioning he blocks people.
Okay. Yeah, that guy does not like to talk to people. As a matter of fact, he doesn't even like taking questions. Because I noticed that there's Reddit forums about how this guy does, and like there was ones on there that said I was legitimately just asking a question. There was no shade, no snark, no animosity, nothing. I was asking a question about something and I got blocked.
Sounds like Jason Schreier.
So, some people have thin skins.
Shocking.
Yeah. So here's a question I have for everybody here. What do we think about alternatives to like traditional scores? You know, like getting away from like the letter system, the number system, even the star system to a certain extent, because star is basically number system in my opinion. You know, like like how do you feel about like the must play or wait for a sale or cannot recommend or needs more work? Like, you know, those type of like summations of the reviews.
I could see consumers accepting those reviews a lot better. I could
Mhm.
see developers and publishers absolutely hating that
Like
because unless
Ubisoft
the game gets
and
a must
WB
play,
Games.
yeah, it's like you could wait for a sale on this one. Like that would just piss a publisher right off and be
Well,
like,
well,
No, we need this right now. We're not putting it on sale."
here's a criticism about those companies, right? Don't 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 sell us this game like saying it's a AAA title and it's more like a glorified AA title. You know what I mean? Like
I, I
if it's your flagship title, like put the flagship work into it, you know. But if it's just one of those regular releases that no one's ever heard of, Forspoken,
Mm,
I was like Skull and Bones, the world's
don't
first
just
quadruple A.
oh god, Ubisoft, like man, they're a gift that keeps on giving in like the 2020s, aren't they?
Yeah. Just when you think they start fixing themselves, they do something else, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, or it's like I get it. You know, certain games have pedigrees. For example, Final Fantasy, like the name alone just has a pedigree. Persona, the name alone has a pedigree, and stuff like that. But you know, if it's got the pedigree, don't think you can just release a mid-ass game and then you're upset because it only sold 1 million copies. You know, even though it's technically a flagship.
Or sell it on one console. That's
Right. Yeah.
like,
Yeah, like it looks like a few course corrections are happening for a few companies on that one. Which is good, you know, because like this the face of gaming has changed now. Like people don't want to be exclusive, they want to be more inclusive.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
yeah, but again, though, like coming back to the whole, we have to sell $5 million copies to break even on this game, right?
Poor Dead Space.
What game did they just announce was just now breaking even?
Alan Wake.
No,
Alan Wake.
Alan
no,
Wake.
it's not Alan
Alan
Wake.
Wake 2.
Oh,
There's something else recently too. Yeah, I did see
mm.
the Alan Wake one. I was like, geez, well, good thing they signed with Epic, so they ate that money. But because if
I,
they didn't have a publisher, they would have been. You wouldn't be getting anything else from them ever. They'd be
Yeah.
gone.
I don't know. I think in that case, like, I think publishers are just pushing it too damn soon. Like, oh, if we don't sell this in the first 5 days, then it's a complete failure. Where now it's like Alan Wake is technically making revenue for the company. Like,
Hmm.
is that a bad thing?
I think the major problem when we look at a discussion like that is not so much that that the game is not selling. I think what it is that they want the payday right up front.
Hmm.
They wanted to sell 5 million copies in the first 15 days. They don't want to sell 5 million copies in the first 2 years.
Well, then
You
don't
know?
put your game out at the end of a fiscal quarter if you want that payday up front.
Don't put it out. Don't put it out when people are worried about like the stock market bottoming out like it damn near did yesterday.
Yeah, and like you look at something like Spider-Man 2, right? Where the budget for that game was $320 million, right? And let's say, okay, the collector's edition was a certain amount, and people bought it on sale. So let's just cancel it out and say everybody bought it for $70, right? They would have to sell 56 and a half or 5.6 million copies to break even. Which, okay, it's Spider-Man. It's going to, right? Eventually, if it hasn't already. I'm pretty sure it's sold probably like 7 or 8 at this point. But like, that's a lot of games, right? I remember like, and I yell at this at Ed on Nintendo Powerlock all the time, but like, he brings up that 1 million mark all the time. I'm like, that used to be the magic number, right?
That
And like
used to be the magic number.
in like 2000, in the mid 2000s, but now with these budgets, right? Like,
Mm.
I mean, you look at something like Twisted Metal. I was listening to something the other day. The original Twisted Metal was made for less than $600,000.
Yeah.
They made it in like,
and it was an amazing fucking game.
I think they made it in like less than a year and a half, and then they made the sequel in less than a year, and they made both games for like $1.2 million, maybe, including marketing.
You see, that's the other problem too. Like the budget. The budget is like it's the thing that burns me up in games, because like I feel like people with potato budgets make awesome looking games.
Yeah. Well, I think people are still chasing the hyper realistic 4K like things, and like I think you look at something like I think at this point you look at something like Fortnite, which I know people like to talk about Fortnite in a lot of different ways, but like that game proves that you don't have to see the pores on this character's nose and the sweat running down their face.
I know, right?
You
That shit was
game
crazy.
that
With
is
this,
fun and engaging, right? Or like
guys,
remember when Kana came
shrinking
out?
horse balls.
Yeah, like
what
Rock's
game was that?
Red Dead 2.
Red Dead 2.
Oh my
Where in the
God.
cold the horse balls would actually shrink.
Number
Yeah.
one, I would never even pay attention to something like that, because I'm not looking at animal genitalia.
Fair.
But that was like $100,000 right there. The making shrinking horse balls.
That's some weird shit.
Imagine the engineer that has that on their resume. Well, it says you worked on Red Dead 2. What'd you do?
I
made the horse balls.
I was in control of the testicular motion in the game.
Mm-hmm. Making it as realistic as possible. When it got cold, you knew.
Horse anatomy. Realistic horse anatomy.
And I guarantee you somebody in the interview was like, well, that's just a bunch of horse shit right there. Okay. All right. So ultimately, at the end of the day, like all reviews are just someone else's opinion. So yeah, like, hey, I said it. I said
no, they're not. They're world fact. And if you don't agree with it, you're kicked out of the gaming community forever.
Only world fact if you agree with it. Otherwise, it's just fake news.
I'm sorry, I spent way too much money for my computer to become an overgrown paperweight. So screw y'all.
Hey.
While reviews can be helpful, they shouldn't be treated as like definitive judgments. They should not, especially when like just like how other facets of our community where people are bought and like they're shills and all this stuff, and like, and there's no integrity or whatnot. You should always look at this stuff as a judgment. Even me with my dyed-in-the-wool Monster Hunter, Resident Evil, Street Fighter persona, like you should always take it as the gospel whenever I say like, hey, Monster Hunter, Street Fighter, Bayonetta, all these games are good. You should always want to be able to at least have like varying opinions on it, and also look into it yourself. Treat them as buyer's guide, if anything, or first impressions. As a matter of fact, any review that comes out when a game drops should be a first impression, because most of these reviewers have not even beaten the game. There's been a lot of people caught with their hands in the cookie jars acting like they beat the fucking game, like even tell you, oh yeah, you gotta spend like 90 hours playing this game, and then come to find out, like, based off their trophy history, they've only played 15 hours of the game.
Yeah. Well, there was that World of Warcraft conundrum like 15 years ago, right? Where someone from like GameSpot reviewed one of the expansions and was like complaining about all this stuff. And they can't the World of Warcraft people came back and said, you didn't even play the game. And they pulled up his player history and he only played like an hour of it.
Yeah. See, integrity. Like, you got to have that. But us as gamers and people who are just consumers and stuff like that, don't be afraid to dig into details beyond the score, because the score does not give you the entire scenario of it and all. So the next time you're out there and you see a 6 out of 10, like, take that with a grain of salt. And I mean that. Take it with a grain of salt, because like, that person could have just been having a bad day when they reviewed that game. Like their hardware could have been effing up, stuff like that. Whether you have a PS5 Pro or an Xbox Series S or an RTX 5090 graphics card with the 9750 X3D CPU and whatnot. You just never know sometimes, like they could be just having hardware tip problems, and it's affected the way they're actually playing and reviewing the game. All right. And always, and my last piece on this is just remember, the best review is the one that aligns with your own tastes and your preferences and stuff like that. So, like, I don't always like people just being in their own echo chamber and whatnot, but for the love of God, you spend money on this stuff. You try to use video games to get your sanity back. Like, you should definitely, like, this is one of those times when like, talk to people that like the game, or like the type of games you like, and take it from there. All right. This topic's done.
Yeah.
I give that topic an 8 out of 10.
I'll take it.
Re-review coming soon.
That'll be
by someone who wasn't on this episode. Probably Ed.
Let's get Ed, Matt, and Andre to like review this.
Oh God.
Mm-hmm.
Man, are we gonna be one of those like 90s sitcom podcasts where like the cast gets back together and like reviews old episodes of the show?
Feel like, oh my God, was my hair really that wild back then? Like, what's happening?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh wow, I really didn't like shaving, did
I? We're not as cute as the girls of The Office, so I don't know if that would work out.
Sure it would.
Another critique of mine, I was like, what is wrong with me? Why was I always flashing my armpits all the time at the camera?
That's what you get for not wearing sleeves.
I was always loading up.
Hey. Apparently we get complaints and our viewership goes down when I'm not showing like some modicum of skin. Like, like even though like you see like shoulders and some biceps and stuff like that, notice there's no chest to be seen tonight.
Yeah, where's the hamburger meat, LeRon?
Well, I guess
I am a black man. Like that doesn't really exist on us.
I don't really know what that. I don't really understand what that means when people.
I don't understand what that means either. But I don't understand how we derived that word for chest hair. But I knew it meant chest hair.
Okay, whatever. I don't know. Help.
Besides, you have to pay to say that on me anyway.
Look at this. You can use this as dental floss.
I don't like this. Help. All right.
Corey, I'm kicking it back to you.
Oh no. I don't like any of this.
Good night, everybody.
Gosh.
I'm good. I'm fine.
I'm not.
Everything's copacetic.
I'm not. I need help. All right. Let's
time for the banter of the week.
Banter of the week. A relaxing video game is necessary for all players. By Josh Martinez. What a guy. So
Josh is one of my favorites at the writing team.
Yeah,
one of my favorites. Not my favorite, but one of my favorites.
Yeah. Oh, jeez, that seems like a backhanded compliment.
I have a top 3.
Oh.
And see, now I'm curious.
Am I in your top 3, LeRon?
Actually, that banger of a feature you did about Nintendo and Microsoft, like, man, I was like, damn, Corey like did the thing on that one.
See, Corey doesn't write often, but when he writes, they're great pieces. Corey.
Yeah, for real.
I would like to write more. Tell the website to stop breaking. And
I would love to write more too. Just life is kicking my ass.
I know, jeez, oh my gosh, you telling me?
I just want someone to write for me. Is that too much to ask?
Chat
Like, I didn't
GPT.
I was
I
gonna
didn't
say
write a
AI.
I didn't write a single thing in 2024 for the network, and I feel like I'm really lacking on that. And I guarantee you, if I turn around and message Lasby right now and say, "Hey, I want to do the Monster Hunter Wilds review," he'll be like, "Do it."
Probably,
He
yeah.
You
would.
would.
Yeah. But speaking of life being super busy, we all need that relaxing game. It's life comes at you fast, and if you don't stop and take a look for a
Mm.
while, you may miss it.
Mhm.
So
But the interesting thing is to generating a conversation off this topic, everyone, like, speaking of perception, everyone's perception of what a relaxing game is may vary. Someone might, a lot of people might find just farming sims relaxing, while others need a first person shooty McShoots, blood, guts exploding everywhere as a cathartic experience.
Mhm.
And believe it or not, there are people that think Elden Ring actually is relaxing for them. So,
Oof,
and
I'm not
Elden
maybe.
Ring
yucking. I'm
first
not yucking
Bloodborne.
anybody's yum.
So
I'm not
Mhm.
going to do
Yeah.
that.
I can see how Elden Ring can be relaxing because it's a pattern based game, right? And it's very,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you still have to be skilled, but it's very predictable. It's very like, if you've played that game a lot, those patterns are easy to follow. The muscle memory for the patterns is there, right? Like it's very, it's very
Mhm.
structured in that way, right?
Yeah.
And as are all the Souls games. So I could see how people find that relaxing for sure.
Mhm.
If I was good, if I didn't get bored of those games after 10 hours, I'd probably think they were relaxing too.
No, when I was with the XP cast, we actually had kind of a name for what we considered a relaxing game. We almost called them bubblegum games.
Mm.
It's something that you can just mindlessly do, to kind of just like chewing gum. Like you don't really put any effort into chewing gum. You just kind of do it, and you can do it for like minutes to hours. That's kind of like what a relaxing game is. It's something to just take your mind off of the stresses of the day, whether it be a cozy game like a farming sim or, you know, maybe a stressful game like Souls.
Mm-hmm.
But like for example, one of my cozy games that I enjoy or one of my go-to relaxing games is Power Wash Simulator. Like it is a very menial game. A lot of people might consider it boring, but there are things that I absolutely love about the game, such as the wonderful sound effects, the thing like seeing things go from dirty to clean, the little chime when you do a good job, the multiple chimes when you do like a lot of good jobs in like a span of like a half second, and it's a beautiful sound. Um, but it's one of those games that I can play and I find it rejuvenating to me. Like I literally don't have to think about anything else in my life when I'm playing this game. I can just lose myself in it.
Yeah. Uh, and that's kind of how I feel about. Uh, I know you guys make fun of me all the time for this, but Disney Dreamlight Valley, when like it's that mix between a like farming sim relaxing game, but it also has an like a light RPG quest structure. And so like you're kind of completing these tasks and these quest lines, and like when you complete a task, it's fun because your little quest marker goes from blue to green, and then when you turn it in, like you get like little fireworks and sparks and fun things, right? And it's like a little hit of dopamine, and then like the new quest marker pops up that's pink, and you're like, oh cool, let's go I don't know, pick 75 apples for I don't know,
Hmm.
whatever. So it's fun. That reminds me, the new Star Path started this week.
Ooh.
Okay.
Anything special?
It's Aladdin. So
That's right.
You can get the magic carpet to follow you around as a little buddy. Follows
Still
you
would have
around.
preferred Abu
Yeah.
or Genie or Iago.
Me too.
Magic
Yeah,
Carpet may
Abu,
be
yeah.
like number 5 on my list of things to follow me.
They
Jasmine
might be
probably would be number 4. Actually, she might be higher. Maybe like number 2. Abu would still be number 1 though.
they
I would pick the monkey over Jasmine.
well, not to get too deep into Disney Dreamlight Valley, but Aladdin and Jasmine are the new villagers. So you can, once you complete their quest, they move in. So
Ooh.
I don't know where to put them, but
Well, Jasmine can stay with you, and Aladdin, he's used to being a street rat, so.
mm.
Can I have Raja the
Anyway,
tiger?
Sure.
Yay!
I have a
So
little
if anyone
snow
pisses
tiger.
me off, I'll have her maul their face off.
Yeah, I have a little snow tiger that follows me around. I can, but right now I let my daughter pick things, and she really likes Encanto. So the little capybara from Encanto, the bored one that doesn't care about anything, follows me around. So yeah. Anyways, cozy games, everybody. LeRon, what's your cozy game? Monster Hunter?
No, actually, no.
Oh, what?
No, most of my cozy games are like rhythm games, which can also be a little frustrating sometimes because like I'm one of those people. I'm always trying to go for like the best score, and so like if it's not double A or better, like I start cursing. But but honestly, well, because I like music so much, so like playing a game where it's basically I'm interactively playing the music and stuff like that, like it's always a winner for me. If I were to pick something and say it was a cozy game that's not like in the rhythm genre, actually I don't think I can because like any game I name, everybody be like, that game is pure hell. What is wrong with you?
Which game? I mean, I used to think Destiny raids were cozy and easy, like that was my comfort for a long time.
Yeah, it
And those
doesn't
are
have
hard.
to be cozy, like, non-violent and stuff. We kind of described cozy as if you lose yourself into it and you're just, in like a zen moment.
Mega Man 2 and 3, Super Mario Brothers 2, Dead Space to a certain extent. Well, Dead Space 2 actually, because I know Dead Space 2 like the back of my hand. Like I know Dead Space 2 better than I knew Dead Space 1. And that includes the remake because I've only played the remake twice, whereas I played Dead Space 1 maybe like 200 times.
Yeah. Yeah, man, cozy games. They're go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was about to say I've always liked rhythm games. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of kicking myself that I got rid of my DJ Hero for PS3. Like I don't know what I was thinking. I should have kept that, but then again, I lost my save file anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And you can't buy the song packs anymore.
Rip song packs. They're all in Fortnite now. You got to go buy those new Fortnite guitars, LeRon.
Guitar Hero is fun,
songs?
but Guitar Hero, the problem I have with Guitar Hero, and everybody's gonna say, well, duh, like a lot of the music didn't resonate with me. Like, I mean, yeah, I love classic rock and like stuff like that, but for the most part, like a lot of music didn't resonate with me, and like people that were like full comboing, like absolute best scores to the Fire and Flames. There's something wrong with y'all.
Yeah. Speaking of something wrong, are we guilty? Are we all guilty of playing back-to-back hard games, or do we like to pitch that cozy game in there once in a while in between? And like, right now I'm playing Fire Emblem Engage, but I'm already eyeing Xenoblade Chronicles, right? My Xenoblade Chronicles playthrough, but like, do I stop and play Disney Dreamlight Valley for a little bit before I jump into Xenoblade? Because that's a large, intense RPG that like maybe I'm gonna need something in between.
I feel like the majority of us average gamers, we like when games challenge us and stuff like that, and even games that we played and beaten a couple, like a couple times and stuff like that. We find ourselves going back into it. Like
Mhm.
there's people who make an art out of like The Last of Us.
Mm-hmm.
There are people who literally like do things to themselves. For Resident Evil 8 and Silent Hill 2. Silent Hill 2 and Alan Wake 2 and stuff like that. And then there's people that that are like, oh, I'm just gonna stroll through Hogwarts all day.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of feel like the way I mean, obviously, from when I was younger, my gaming habits have changed, but just like not just in terms of like playtime or what games I can and have the time to play, but like I don't know, I used to play like back to back to back to back games. Like I remember in my early 20s, right before the Wii came out, I played God of War 1 and 2 back to back, Kingdom Hearts 2, and I was
Yeah.
playing Halo multiplayer and Final Fantasy 10 2, or no, Final Fantasy 12, all back to back to back to back. And like I don't know if I could do some sort of intense run like that now, cuz like that's like a lot of, first of all, a lot of those games are just big games, but like I don't know if I could do that now. Like if I could just sit there and play, because we could sit there and play hundreds of hours of RPGs, when we were younger. Also, maybe like that's because those were the only games we had and we just had to play them, right? Because we couldn't afford to go buy anything else. But uh, now I'm just like, man, it's either the cozy game, the game as a service, or like the game I have the itch to play. You know,
That's more me. The game I have to play.
yeah, yeah. So, Stephanie, Pat, you put cozy games in between your big gaming outings, or are you just kind of going from game to game to game?
I don't necessarily need a cozy game in between game projects. That because I consider it different than a palate cleanser, because a palate cleanser might not be so cozy to me. A palate cleanser to me just has to be something different or
Hmm.
quick or short. Cozy game, I very rarely need one because there's other aspects and hobbies and things that I do in my life that help me feel cozy. Um, with regards to actual cozy games, for many, many early gaming years, it was my Harvest Moon 64. But as I've said in many episodes, that one game also burned me out of any sort of sim game. Um, Games I would consider cozy are your open world games that have objectives, but I can also live in. So that would be, Hogwarts Legacy. It was Red Dead 2 for a while. It was Ghost of Tsushima for a while because those were games that even though they had action and objectives, I could also run around and pet foxes. I can go and murder a bunch of
Ooh.
O'Driscolls. I can was it Hogwarts? I can go into my little monster area and breed monsters or play with them or something.
You know,
But
uh, circling back to Ghost of Tsushima real fast, like
mm,
there was a when I was playing it, because like I said, I kind of put it down because of Monster Hunter. When I was playing it, like you let that bird show up and like start leading me somewhere. Like I immediately forget like what the quest is and start following the damn bird. Because sometimes the bird will lead you right to a fox. Sometimes the bird will lead you straight to a hot springs. Sometimes the bird will lead you to like the like an overlook where you can just write your poetry.
mm-hmm. Yep.
It's just one of those things. It pulls you out. It pulls you out of the moment. As a matter of fact, I think what they did with Ghost of Tsushima is so good because the game can get frustrating and stressful, and the fact that there are opportunities for you to just like take a break in the game is wild.
Yes.
Mm,
Yes.
yeah, it's yeah. I don't know. I just Ghost of Tsushima. Uh, just I really tried. I really tried to play that game, and I couldn't get through it. I I don't know if it's because I had just played a lot of Assassin's Creed before that or what, but like, I don't know. I mean, that game wasn't hard to me, I guess. But also like, it wasn't relaxing. It was just, I was kind of bored with it, if that makes sense.
No, we talked about it a little bit on the Ghost of Tsushima book club, but Ghost of Tsushima's fault is that the
my
mission
gosh.
structure is a very rinse and repeat. It is always you get a mission, you travel to said destination, you fight a bunch of people, maybe travel to another destination, you fight more people. That is kind of how the mission goes. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, even the side quests kind of fall under that same mission structure. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful game, but it's very repetitive in its motions.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, I think that's the, obviously that's the kick on Assassin's Creed also. Is very repetitive. Also, Assassin's Creed is much longer than Ghost of Tsushima. Not that I'm trying to make this about, this instead of relaxing games, but like I feel like the combat in Assassin's Creed is much better, and that makes that series more comforting and relaxing to me, I guess, compared to Ghost of Tsushima.
But see, that's what makes having this conversation wonderful because, like, for me, I find Ghost of Tsushima relaxing even with combat because it's all about the stances
Mm-hmm.
and also when you have that ability to like strike right when an opponent is about to like what's that thing called in the
Counter.
beginning?
Oh yeah.
The showdown?
Oh god. Yeah.
The what?
The showdown where you like
Showdown,
when
yeah.
you run in.
There's something like it
Mhm.
really like forces me to like focus and I get into like this weird zone and but see that's
Mhm.
just like how my weird brain works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, I think that's cool that we enjoy different games for different reasons, even if they're like kind of similar or opposing each other, um, so yeah. Cozy games. So just to kind of wrap up this topic, what are your go-to cozy games? Like, what are the absolute go-to cozy games for you guys?
For ourselves or for
Yes,
other people?
for yourselves.
Okay, because for me, I think I kind of rattled them off already, so I will pass the baton to someone else.
I already mentioned Power Wash Simulator. I'm also a big fan of Picross games. Is another one of my cozy. Uh, yeah, I would say Picross and Power Wash Simulator are the two go-to cozy games I go to.
LeRon, what about you? What are you cozying up to? What are you snuggling up to? What do you?
Actually, why the hell did I forget about? Why the hell did I forget about this? City Skylines.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, like I mean, like it has its ups and downs, of course. Like like it can get stressful, like when you're trying to do like the city management and stuff like that. But beyond that, like that's another one. And I don't play enough of it. Is the wild part, because it's literally a game. It's literally a game where I don't want to like use a whole bunch of brain power on. So I only pull it out like every so often.
Yeah, that's kind of like me in Roller Coaster Tycoon, where like when I'm in it, like it's super relaxing, but then
Yeah.
you got to do the hard stuff, and it's like, I just want to watch roller coasters blow up, and I don't know, take the boats away and watch the people drown and be about my day. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that. Yeah, I guess for me, like I already talked about Disney Dreamlight Valley, but also like Tetris is a huge one for me, just to relax too. And it's just, I think the patterns of the blocks just kind of being the same, and kind of, that's comforting, knowing that it's just something that I've been playing for 40 years, and it's just kind of, so.
My mom actually just gave me her copy of Tetris the other day, complete and
Oh,
boxed.
Wow.
And Tetris 2 and Dr. Mario.
NES or Game Boy?
NES.
Nice.
Well, she also gave me the Game Boy copy
Nice.
too, but that one's not a complete in box.
Because it didn't have a box. It came with the Game Boy.
Very true.
It's funny because like they did sell Tetris separately when the Game Boy Pocket came out, but that box is like extremely rare apparently. Just because like everybody that bought a Game Boy before that has Tetris, so like why do you need a box? Speaking of boxes, let's take the games out of the boxes and talk about what we've been playing. Huh?
Nice transition.
Yeah,
I like that.
Right? I know, right?
That was good.
This guy being snazzy.
I know. I'm going to go first just because I haven't been playing a lot and I want to hear the conversation surrounding Monster Hunter and kind of make that the big kind of finale of the show.
Oh, yeah. I like that idea.
So I
Fine,
mean,
I'll go last then.
good.
I'm straight.
How about you don't go at all?
I'll
Oh.
go third. That way I can
can I log
transition
off right
into
now?
Monster Hunter.
No,
Can I
because
log off right? I'm about to transition to Monster Hunter.
No, you will go last because then I will go third and transition into the Monster Hunter
I love
because
it.
I played it.
man, look at that plan. It's like we play.
Mhm.
It's like I don't know.
It's like we're a podcast. I don't know.
What?
I don't know.
No, we're not.
Anyway.
I've been playing Fire Emblem Engage still. I thought I was going to wrap it up by now, but I'm still having so much fun playing it that I just keep going to do the skirmishes and the new paralog missions, and then new DLC missions popped up randomly because I'm so far into the game, even though I thought I completed them already. And I'm just like, I think my timer is 62 hours, and I'm like, I thought I was going to be done and moving on to something else by now, but I'm having fun. I'm just having fun playing the game. It's also
That's
to the
awesome.
point. It's also to the point though where I've leveled up all my characters so much that I'm just kind of like blasting through these battles, and like the experience points don't even matter. It's like, whose line is it anyway?
You guys truly are gods now.
Yeah. So I've also been playing the mobile game, which is like super addicting still. Still never paid a penny. And I've unlocked something like 500 heroes. So I send all my less than 5 stars. I send them home. I don't want them. Only 5-star heroes in my barracks. You know what I mean?
Jeez.
Right, LeRon?
Mm-hmm.
True. I mean, I know I sound judgy there, but I'm also right there with you.
So yeah, that's been fun. Also, I apparently if you do the events that I haven't really been doing because I don't know, I don't really find them that fun. But this one I played all the way through it, and apparently you can steal other people's heroes. So I stole
You're a hero homewrecker.
I am.
I know, right?
I am.
Damn.
I stole a Byleth, and apparently it's the Byleth from the summer beach fun because it's very didn't see that outfit when I played Three Houses. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
Hey.
I don't think teachers are allowed to wear that outfit.
Yeah. I've definitely never seen any of my teachers in this. That's it. I don't have anything exciting to tell. What?
I said, but do you wish you had?
Some of them.
Uh,
Moving on. Stephanie, what do you is Okami have any not safe for work outfits?
Well, there's a little bit of cleavage. I would say your sidekick says a lot of not safe for work stuff. Well, anyway, but I will say big achievement for me.
butthole.
Yes.
Mataratsu shows her butthole.
Oh no. Help.
So does so does Midna here. Anyway. We had a conversation on a prior podcast about what our maybe it was a pre-show topic, our 4 backlog games that we want to pledge to play this year. And I've knocked down 50% of them, and that is Okami HD. I finally beat the game. I can't recall if the last time I was on there, if I made that I don't know. But so I am going to do like a retro game review on it for Boss Rush. But overall, I get the concept of why it's a recommendation for Zelda fans. I definitely had my gripes with it. I struggled through it a lot. Personally didn't like the pacing, but I do feel that either I was not in the right mindset or something. But overall, a beautiful game. Got some things that I really loved about it, other things meh about it, but it definitely was worth playing, and it had all the foundations and makings of a great game, so I know the sequel is going to be fantastic. Or at least I have high hopes for it. And then the other one that I wanted to beat, and it was on my backlog, was Slay the Spire, because they're working on a sequel to Slay the Spire. That is, Corey, are you ready for this? A roguelike deck
I
builder,
knew it. My favorite.
which is odd because those two things were like my least, like I cared the least about. But the more that I play, the more I actually kind of am liking it. Um, It started with Inscription. I ended up loving Inscription, and Slay the Spire actually is pretty good. It's a lot more difficult than I thought. I actually find it more difficult than Inscription, in my opinion. Took forever for me to successfully complete a run. Took a lot.
Hmm.
But, there's 3 characters that you can unlock before you can unlock a 4th character, because a 4th character, I think you have to complete a run.
Hmm.
There's the Ironclad, which is your warrior, your melee fighter and defense, one that focuses on buffs or debuffs, and then the last one is like this automaton that uses like orbs, like extra elements to help attack or buff or debuff. Um, and it's been a lot of fun to the point where after I've completed a full run, unlocked all 4 characters, I technically don't have the true ending. I like it enough that I'm actually still playing it, even though I don't have to anymore and I can move on. I don't know if I'll eventually get the true ending, because to get the true ending, you need to complete a full run of the 3 main characters and then do one final run with an unlocked area. And if I'm having a hard time, uh, like I basically have my one character that I can kick ass in really well, but the other 2 and the decks and the cards that they come with, I'm having a hard time getting even past the 2nd level out of 3 levels. So, I don't know if I'll get the true ending, but I've definitely played way more hours than I thought I was going to play. I wouldn't be surprised if I racked up as many gaming hours as Okami with Slay the Spire at this point, because
Oh, nice.
it's sucks the time away. Holy shit.
Nice.
And then I did squeeze in some gory, cuddly carnage. The reason why I'm struggling with that one is because it is a type of game where you use combos and tricks and stuff on your hoverboard. And I'm apparently last time I played was right before a boss, and I don't remember any of the move sets, so the boss kicks my
No.
ass in the first minute because I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Oh, I hate that. I hate when that happens.
So now I'm like, oh shoot, am I not going to be able to finish this because my own fault? I stopped, and it's like literally right at the boss door, and you can't go back. So it's not like I can go back and practice my move sets. I'm like, oh cool, I'm screwed. So
Oh,
I
cool.
still
I'm
want to play. It's
screwed.
still fun. I'm an idiot and stopped right before a boss, and I don't remember anything. That is game number 3 out of my 4 that I pledged to be in my backlog, though, by the way. And if it's only March and I'm there, I think I'll at least hit my backlog goal. The downside is I don't remember what my 4th game was, so I have to go back and listen. LeRon, do you remember if that was a pre-show topic
Um,
off the top of your head?
I can't remember specifically. No, shit. No, I'm sorry.
It's all right. I'll
That
figure it out. So.
might have been a pre-show topic.
But anyway,
It
yeah,
feels like it was a pre-show topic, but
I
I can't
believe
say
it
it
was.
definitively.
So that,
Um,
and now I can't remember. I
what
know that it was Okami, Slay the Spire, Gory. That fourth one I don't remember. I think it was an RPG. I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah,
um,
one of the things I would love to do is like preserve the docks, but that's a whole different like
topic.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
thank you.
like actually converting the docs to a spreadsheet. That way we have like, I don't know. But I'm not putting that on you, Corey. That's something I will do myself
I
because
mean,
Oh yeah.
we were
I'm
doing
anal
that. We
huh?
I was doing that for a long time, and then we never did anything with those, so I stopped
Was
because
that
it was a
was that
waste of
the
time.
was that the scheduling spreadsheet that you have? Because I have that open.
No, this was
Like
a
I
different
okay.
one. It had like the main topic, the secondary topic, any important notes, and then the games that we played.
Mhm. I just feel like I don't know, like as I get more like entrenched and stuff, I feel like like we should have like a bibliography of like everything that we've done.
Yeah.
Oh
But
yeah.
that's me because like
Mhm.
I'm like I said I'm anal and I'm OCD.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I wish we were still doing that, but you know, things
Anyway,
changed.
but that thanks for
Mhm.
letting me talk about it. It's the first time I've actually had something of substance to talk about in a while. So
Yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying it. I would. I'm also playing a deck builder that I didn't mention. Hmm, the Pokemon trading
what?
card pocket game.
Oh, mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
I'm not
Um,
really playing it. I'm just letting my kids open the packs every night, and then you know do
that's what most parents do. Like, like I have the game on here and like I keep forgetting to open the packs. Do
yeah.
they stack
No,
Only
or is
two
it
at
They
a
max
time.
nope,
out at 2.
nope.
oh, okay. So I mean if I open my
Three if
game
you're
right
in the
now, I'm not gonna have
premium.
like 40 packs to like what?
I said
You
three if
might
you're in
have
the premium.
you actually might have the 10 pack Pokemon Day gift to open. So I don't know. Anyways, uh, cool. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I know Matt actually enjoyed Slay the Spire for a long time.
Hmm.
Uh, so I guess we should probably move on to Pat then,
Yep.
and then we'll wrap
All
up with
right.
Monster Hunter.
Yep. Before we talk about Monster Hunter, I received a game key from Ivy Road, the wonderful game that
I'm
they
being
have.
silly.
They, yeah, thank you for the game key. It is a game called Wander Stop. It is I believe, the company's like debut production. And it's made by the director of the Stanley Parable. And this game is about a warrior who is suffering from burnout, and she is kind of forced to stop fighting and picks up the hobby of tea making because of where she
Mm-hmm.
ended up. She gets lost in a forest. She passes out and she gets she wakes up under the care of a really nice uh, shopkeeper who encourages her to pick up the craft and try to relax and recover herself. um I've only played a couple hours of this game so far, and it is surprisingly how much it resonates with me. The theme of burnout is very prevalent in the game, and I feel very much for the main character and kind of her struggle. Like, she wants to push forward, she wants to keep going on like all cylinders, but her body is like, I can't do this, and causes her to like kind of, I guess, beat herself up about it. But she's trying to learn to let go and to just be allowed to do nothing, in a sense. So I really resonate with that story. The gameplay itself is about as cozy as the game is themes are sounding. The cool thing about this is I was a little worried because I'm not a big fan of simulators, especially shop simulators, where like timing seems to be like an where it might be an issue where like, oh, you have to serve a customer, as fast as you can, otherwise they leave and give you a horrible review. That's not the case with this game. Customers will stay there as long as until you finally, achieve their objective. This game feels a lot like Coffee Talk in a way that you have to customize drinks to the customer's preference and able to get more story out of them. And I thought that was a pretty cool aspect because the stories are also pretty neat as well. Each customer has their own like trials and tribulations that they're going through, and you get to find out more about them and kind of see how the change affects your character. Other things that you can do, there's a little bit of a gardening aspect and able to make ingredients for your tea. It's not a very complicated method. It just revolves around two plants and planting seeds. Or there might be more than two plants later, but right now there's only two kind of plants. And like planting seeds in like formations that will get a certain kind of bigger plant that grows fruit or something that you can then use later into making the tea. Otherwise, other things are brewing the tea, just sitting around sipping the tea. It's a very like you have full control over what you do, but at the same time, there is no rush in what you have to do. So I can actually very much appreciate that. It is a very colorful game. It is a very beautiful game. It has a very nice soundtrack. It's got these cute little like angry bird penguin mascots that, like just walk around with like packages that they find, and you need to try and get the packages off of them. It's very cute. It's very cozy. I'm liking it a lot more than I thought initially I was going to like it. So I believe it comes out. It will be out on March 11th for both Steam and PlayStation 5. But it's something I've been very much enjoying, and I think other people who kind of want something a little bit more on the cozier side, but with a more story focused narrative to drive the game forward, I think this would be a game for them. Other than that, I have been hunting monsters in the wild. I already
Yeah.
completed the main story. So Monster Hunter Wilds is game number 7 in 2025. The story, though, is more like a tutorial for the real meat of the game. But I really like the story in this. It's something new that Monster Hunter focused on. Because
Mm.
normally stories like very like second or third dairy in this, but they made it primary here. It's got some very good motion capturing or like good animations, and some great voices. No one actually like graded on me, which is something surprising in like a Japanese game. Usually you have one voice that's like super high pitched and like even the palicos didn't like get on my nerves that much. Uh, but I would say this Monster Hunter is probably the most easiest for anyone to get into. There is so many different styles and combat tutorials that will teach you how to use your weapon. There's so many. It is not as the other Monster Hunters kind of like was really hard to aim at the monster at times. This one has a focus button that helps you turn your character to the monster when swinging your weapon, so it's a little harder to miss. They have the wound system, where if you focus attacks, you can eventually open up a wound on the monster, which then, if you hit that, it delivers a powerful blow. Like, it is a very easy Monster Hunter to get into, in my opinion. What do you think, LeRon?
I'm with you on that one. I there was a part of me that was sitting there figuring like like is this game easy? But then I had to remember like I've been playing Monster Hunter for 20 years, so like I take a lot of this stuff for granted.
Hmm.
As a matter of fact, I played through half of the story mode without even changing my armor. Like until I ran into one monster that just continuously clapped me, and I was like, you know what, it's time for new armor. Yeah,
Wow.
I also rolled credits in the story mode, so yay! That's my second game I beat this year.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Congratulations.
It doesn't. It honestly, like I feel like you can beat the story in 20 hours. And I guess that's
Yeah.
true because like I played the game for 23 hours, and
Hmm.
I actually rolled credits like an hour before we met tonight to start recording the podcast. So yeah, like so yeah, I feel like honestly, like the further the more and more Monster Hunter games that we get, like the level of entry, like like is not as crippling as it was back in 2004 Monster Hunter. Um, there's so much quality of life stuff that's different, new, or changed that like the game is it's like a whole new monster. Like me and a buddy that used to play the original Monster Hunter back in the day. We were talking, and it was like, and I was like, man, I gotta make well done steaks. And then but here's the coolest part about like making the steak though, like now, right? You make the steak, you get it done right, and instead of you have one well done steak, you have six. Because like the animation now is like he takes one slab of meat, like he roasts it up and he cuts it like into six portions. And I'm
Hmm.
like, that's something that's changed because like because like they tried to make it to where like it wasn't as tedious back in previous games. Like for example, like you could let your cat like make make the well done steaks. He still make one or two at a time, but there was that. But yeah, there's
Hmm.
this game. I'm gonna say this story mode is basically like your training wheels. Like yeah, like you're gonna get a few challenges there that are actually gonna like give you a little bit of like turmoil and whatnot. But I enjoyed the story mode, and speaking with you about that, Pat, like this is one of the times I wish Galatrad was still with us, because Galatrad was
Hmm.
like, I think he was hardcore about Monster Hunter as I was. Um and as a matter of fact, I'm probably just gonna reach out to him tomorrow and be like, hey, like tell me if this game isn't giving you like, for anyone that's played Monster Hunter 4 and Monster Hunter Stories 2, you guys are in for a surprise as far as like the story element of this game. So yeah,
Hmm.
so if you're currently playing Monster Hunter Stories 2, but have not gotten to the point where you want to play Monster Hunter Wilds yet, keep playing Monster Hunter Stories 2 and beat that game, because once you beat it, when you start playing Wilds, you're gonna see some stuff that's basically calling back to that game. And that's good because Stories was always trying to be inclusive to Monster Hunter, the main franchise. And now like this stuff, it's really subtle, but like all the stuff I was getting off the lore and stuff, I was like, oh, this is
Mhm.
this is Monster Hunter Stories 2.
Mm.
Hmm.
And I said Monster Hunter 4 because like this game feels like a pseudo sequel to Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate.
Yeah, there
Like,
there are some tie-ins
yep.
into the plot line as well as characters.
Yeah, like have you figured out who Fabius is?
I know he has something to do with four because he talked about the special in the post game. He talks about what's going on, and I'm like, because four was the first Monster Hunter that I actually beat, so I do
Mhm.
remember the story behind that one, and it's like, oh yeah, that those events are carrying on here.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
Um,
spoil it here on the podcast, but I am gonna tell you who he is in our stream chat right now.
okay,
Spoilers.
yeah, but
Oh.
no, it's a fun game. There's a lot of there there are quite a few there are a lot of new monsters in this game actually, and a new type of monster. They bring in octopus types, the
Yeah.
celiopods, and
Ooh.
they're a different beast in this one. It's really hard to, a lot of times, like a lot of strategy is to usually go behind and attack monsters because they usually have more of a blind spot or can't really reach you as much back there. Not the
Not these octopuses.
celiopods. They'll smack you in any direction that you go.
They're gonna put hands on you.
Lit- Literally. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, I like the new worlds too, or the new environments. I thought were very pretty. I like how the weather kind of changes up what the
Yeah.
environment looks like.
Yeah, that was that's something I'm saying because a lot of reviewers are giving the game shit. Like, yeah, and in my opinion, like I feel like the color palette also could have been just a little more refined. But when you
Mhm.
when you sit down and you play the game and you go through the story, you realize why the world looks like this and stuff like that. So it was definitely a choice that the developers did for Monster Hunter Wilds, and you know what? Like based on how the story is, like it was a good choice. It was a good choice. That being said, of course, like I'm playing on PC, so of course I added a reshade filter to my game because I'm like,
Mhm.
ooh, this is killing my eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I love the weapon retooling. I love the weapon retooling as well as the new armor system, the armor skill system. I like how now armor skills are either attached to your weapons or attached to your armor, but not both. I like that,
Mhm.
so you have to, and I think that's going to be great because it plays more better into the balance of the game. It plays better, more better. That's bad grammar. It plays better with the balance of the game and stuff like that. Like people are going to have to go out of their way and try to figure out how to make OP builds and stuff like that now. Which they're going to. That's not.
Mhm.
It is what it is. But I love that part. The story. I want to say story is probably a 9 out of 10, if not 10 out of 10. Story, just the story alone. Um,
Mhm.
and
Nice.
now that I'm in high rank, I feel like it's just going to get better from there.
Mhm.
Um,
No, I appreciated the story a lot. Especially like the story regarding the actual flagship monster. I thought like I'd never really thought of like to me the monsters were like monsters and they're just something that you had to get rid of. But there was like some deep insight of what a hunter really is and like just the balance of like the monsters in the ecosystem. It
yeah.
really made me think a little bit.
Well, yeah. Other games had the
Mhm.
lore where it was always a balance between the humans and the monsters, or the humans, the Wyverians, because that's the other humanoid species that lives in this land, and
Mhm.
and the monsters itself. But with no spoilers here, based on what you're going to find out about the flagship monster and then some of the monsters related to that, it really like opens your eyes to like how they built this world, and this is something that's been a work in progress for 20 years.
Mhm.
I can't
Yeah.
say that's what they thought they were doing, back in Monster Hunter 1 for PS2. But you could tell we were on to something by the time Monster Hunter 3 came out, Monster Hunter
Mm.
4 came out, World and Iceborne, and Sunbreak and Rise and stuff. You could tell like they were doing something with this overall like canon for the game and stuff like that, which is great. Um
Mhm. What has been your favorite fight so far?
my favorite fight?
Yeah.
My favorite fight so far. Ooh. I really loved the Kangalala fight. I really loved it. I love that
Uh,
fight, and Jan Kutku. Oh my god! Like when I first heard that Jan Kutku was going to be in the game, I was like, man, come on! Like the very first boss monster we ever fight in Monster Hunter.
mhm.
I was like, I don't give a damn about Jan Kutku, but that fight was one of the best fights I've seen in a while. And I guess I should have realized something with the Jan Kutku was going to be better because Gypsaros, they dropped Gypsaros in the second beta, and I enjoyed the
Mhm.
Gypsaros fight, and Gypsaros was another monster I could give a damn about.
Yeah. No, for me, I would say it was the Arkveld fight, the flagship monster. That for me, that fight was
Heartfeld's a good
just
fight.
pure chaos.
Yeah.
Like the thing about it is that it has these like chain like appendages that, or it
Hmm.
has appendages that kind of act like chains. So distance was not your friend in that fight. In fact,
Yeah.
you almost wanted to get closer to the monster, but like, and it just got more and more chaotic as that fight just like went on. And like, I'm just surprised I even survived it. Like, I didn't even know half the things that were going on the
I
screen,
carded
just
I
how
carded once.
chaotic it was.
I carded once within the Arkveld fight.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. But like, it still was like I enjoyed that fight immensely just because of how chaotic and intense. That one was like it was definitely my favorite fight out of everything I've fought so far.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, Arkveld. Yeah, when it becomes new monsters, Arkveld is definitely one of my favorites. Another one of my favorites as far as like the new monsters would go would be the octopus. I'm forgetting the actual name because like the nickname for it in the game is the Black Flame, but that's not its true
Okay.
monster name. Yeah.
Yeah, I forget what the name. I remember like there are two
It's
octopuses, and I remember the second
it's
one,
new
but
something.
yeah.
Which is the other thing too. There's a monster in there that the monster's name is Ufduna. And I was like, what in the Star Wars is going on here? And it looks like something from Star Wars.
Mhm. No, I will. These new monsters are pretty cool. Like I had no issue with most of the new monsters in
Yeah.
this game. Like each one was pretty darn awesome.
It
Even the
it
chicken
was
one.
it did take me a while. Oh yeah, the Chematries? That was like that's the
Yeah.
sketchiest looking thing.
It's like the Tyrannosaurus Rex, but it's a rooster and
Yeah. It is literally a chicken T-Rex, which is not too far from the truth because that's all a T-Rex was any damn way.
and then I was like, ooh, when I cut off the tail because it's a big chunk of tail that gets cut off. So
Yeah.
that is the biggest tail I've ever cut.
The new monster designs took me a little while to get used to, but I'm enjoying them. Like the Balahabra, for example.
Hmm.
Actually, no. My favorite monster, and Stephanie is going to probably like go cry in a corner, is Lalabarina, the white rose spider. Oh my god, that was an amazing fight. It was so fun because like
Oh
when you
yeah.
s- when you saw it when they previewed it, and then like it's bouncing around all over the place. It's got spore puffs all
Mhm.
over the place that paralyze you. You're like, what the hell am I going to do with this fight? It had to be probably one of the best monster hunter fights I've ever had. And I've fought every single monster in the entire Monster Hunter franchise, with the exception of the games that were not readily available in the States.
Mhm.
Yeah, like Lalabarina's armor is like so beast too. Like especially if you're a dude. Oh, can't
Yeah.
forget.
If you're a
Can't
dude,
forget.
you look like Ezio from
Yeah,
Assassin's Creed.
can't forget either. Like whether you're a male or female, you can wear cross gender armor.
Which actually gets kind of funny sometimes. Like
Yeah.
my character looks like Khal Drogo uh from Game of Thrones. So
From Game of
it's a Jason
Thrones.
Momoa looking like beefy Viking like guy. But then when you see him kind of like wearing kind of revealing leg armor and
Yeah.
like flashy things, it's like this is interesting, especially when he's got like a more there was one particular monster that only gave you like torso armor to begin with
Yeah.
until you could get like more advanced parts. But then if you put the armor before that, it's like more like fancier and like bulkier. And so if you put those leg armor to that like top, it was just kind of very funny.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's kind of creative what you want to do to enable to make sure you have the good stats. You aren't going to look pretty, or you
Yeah.
might look pretty. I don't know, but
Fun game. I'm enjoying it, and yeah, it's probably gonna be another game that I wind up 500 plus hours playing. For
mhm.
I'm basically playing this game for its lifetime, and who knows what the mid level entry is. You know, like what like Rise was to World. Like who knows what the mid level entry is gonna look like. You know, we don't even know if it's gonna be. We don't even know if they're even gonna do that because like we don't know what the deal is with like if they're gonna put a portable version out.
Yeah, I think they
Speaking of
kind of
portable versions, like every PC handheld is not having a good time with this game.
yeah. Some of the reports were saying that based on the current handheld PC landscape, they said don't be surprised this doesn't come to Switch 2 ever.
Oh, wait, don't be
Yeah,
surprised if it does not.
Doesn't
yeah, 'cause
come
it's
to Switch
not.
2.
Aw.
But also it might or it might not. And if it does, it
So I was
might
about to
run like
say a
two.
comment like, I'll hop in as soon as it's on the Switch too. Guess not.
Yeah. I thought about buying it, but I need to finish the games I have already. I don't know. Maybe soon I'll get it. And LeRon, you can walk me through. You can.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Train me.
Well, like we said, it is a very easy entry for this game. Like, I don't know about LeRon. I didn't die through the main story, or I didn't fail through the main story.
Well, I didn't fail
At
out
all.
missions. I didn't fail out any missions. Like
Mhm.
I carded a couple of times, but I didn't fail out.
Yeah, same here. And usually Monster Hunter, I'm like failing multiple missions constantly. So,
Yeah.
Question.
Mhm.
Pat, I'm assuming you're playing on PlayStation, right, Pat?
yep.
Can you map the controls? Because that was my biggest
Yes.
issue with the beta.
For PlayStation, I don't know. I never actually checked.
I heard there's better button mapping because the beta was
Okay.
restrictive. Well, I thought by the time the second and third beta came out, though, they'd already fixed that.
I didn't play the second or third one, so I don't know. Because that was my biggest issue trying to play that game was the buttons, like how it was mapped. And I think it's just because I'm used to playing games a specific way, like action games, like action style games like that, a certain way, and the controls just kind of felt a little obtuse for me. But if I can adjust them, then I would play that game forever too. So, yeah. Well, it sounds like Monster Hunter's a winner. Shocking. Who's shocked?
Yeah.
Anybody raise their hand? Who's shocked? I'll probably get it eventually. I just
I would love for you to get it. I'm still kicking myself because like I gifted Monster Hunter Rise and Sunbreak to actually I gifted both Monster Hunter Rise and Sunbreak and World and Iceborne to Andre because like I felt like he was always going to talk about wanting to play it, but he was never going to play it. So I gifted both games and their expansions to him, and he is loving it. As a matter of fact, he loved it so much that because like his Steam Deck is unable to play Monster Hunter Wilds, he went out and bought a PS5.
Nice. Good for him. Oh boy. Well, we did it. We're gonna wrap it up. I'm sure we're gonna talk more about Monster Hunter next week. I'm sure. But until then, I want to thank everybody out there for watching and listening to this episode of the Boss Rush Podcast. You can find us on your podcast service of choice every week or on YouTube. You can support us over on Patreon, patreon.com/Boss Rush Network. You can find all of our content on bossrush.net. LeRon, Stephanie, Pat, thank you for your time tonight. As always, again, I appreciate all of you. And I appreciate all you listeners out there. Thank you so much for watching and or listening. And until next time, we love you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/Boss Rush Network. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, Matthew Keel, and Todd Oxtra. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network.